The Wire EDM module has been enhanced for DFS2012R2 to include 2 and 4-axis wire EDM features. Users can choose from die, punch, profile, and rapid operations for both 2-axis and 4-axis wire features, along with a variety of other options. Features are associated to the model, so toolpaths automatically reflect changes in designs. So for this demonstration, I'm going to start from the very beginning. I do not have a DFS assembly started. I just have a part. And I want to cut this as a 4-axis die. I'll go to my task pane, machine a part, the current part, and select my millimeter wire EDM template. Okay, it opens up and the workflow is exactly like a milling file. It wants to know the stock axis, what the stock looks like, and our setup. Those are our initial steps. So the stock axis is good. I still have all of the options for defining it, aligning it, but that's good where it is. My stock is going to be a bounding box around the part, and it builds that component in my assembly. Okay, you can see the stock component right there. And the setup is good also. I'll leave it where it is. Okay, now I can start creating features, and we can see die, punch, side, and rapid. This is 2-axis at the top and 4-axis at the bottom, plus the option for creating more setups. So it's very simple. I'll go with a 4-axis die. I need to select an upper curve and a lower curve, and these are actually sketches. If you have the sketches you need in the original part, by all means you can use those. If not, you can create the sketches right in the assembly and use those. I do happen to have them in my model, so I'll go drill down through my flyout feature manager, go to this lofted cut, select sketch 3 as my upper curve and sketch 2 as my lower curve, and I get a preview. Okay, let me get rid of the flyout feature manager. The tool axis is correct. You can see the yellow arrow, and now I have this option to match curves. Now in this case, my ISO lines look very good. They're following the profiles and the faces exactly. But that might not always be the case. If you have some twist, or if you have some distortion in your shape, you can correct it by matching curves. And this is very much like using the connector points when you do a loft in SolidWorks. So what I need is an upper vertex or sketch point. So I'm going to select this vertex right here, and the lower one likewise, and then add that as a match curve. And again, if you don't have these vertices exactly where you need them, you can create sketches with points and use those points instead. Now to show you where this will have a drastic effect on my feature, I'm going to pick one sort of badly here. I'm going to pick this vertex and add that, and you can see the twist that creates in this part. It really does mangle this feature. But we can use it also to correct the features. If you have some twist, if you have some distortion, you can use these matched curves a little better than I did there. I'll get rid of that one. You can see you can go back and correct mistakes. But in reality, we don't need to match curves on this feature. I just wanted to show you how we can do that. So we'll clear everything out and disable that, and we'll accept our feature as is. Okay, now I'm still not completely satisfied with this feature though, because I don't like the start point. It's at a compound angle, it's in a strange location, so what I would like to do is override this start point location. And what I need to do that is a point. So I'm going to create a quick sketch right here on the fly and put a point right here where I want the start point to be. Now if you want, you can fully define this with relations and or dimensions. I'm going to just leave that sort of hanging there in space, click OK, and accept my sketch. And there's my point. Okay, now I want to use that as my start point. I'll go to this die feature, right click, and we have an extra entity here that we don't have in other modules. We have Edit Wire EDM Leads. We have Edit Feature, Edit Attributes, but this is a special one. And I'm going to override the default leads here. So the start point for curve 1, which is my upper curve, is this point right here. And you can see that I've got it selected, but it's going to be connected to the segment of my choice, and you can see this green segment highlighted there. That is not what I want. So I have to go through this list. I see every segment, and it's pretty close to the end. Okay, that's not it. You can see that green there. I need the next one. So segment 10 should do it. Okay, now we still have a lot of distortion because I've only matched the upper curve. Now I need to take care of the lower curve start point. So I'm going to drop this down, go to curve 2, select the same point, but you can see there it's still not looking at the proper segment. And try that one. That's down here in the corner. Okay, segment 3. So it's not always going to be the same segment between the two sketches. Now I just changed it by rolling that around. That's why you see the distortion. I changed that back. Okay, now it looks good. Now it looks okay. Now one thing I like about not fully defining this point is I can sort of drag it around and adjust my start point manually. It's kind of nice. But once you get it set, it might be a good idea if you fully define that point so it can't move accidentally. Alright, now let's take a quick look at simulation. I'll run simulation here, and you can see the wire started at my start point. It's going through and cutting this die for me. I can also show the heads of the EDM. It's pretty nice. I'll change a couple things about this. I'll stop that, and now I'll go edit the attributes, and here's where I can dictate how this is cut. So if I go to the operation type, you can see that I have a stop operation selected now. We have other options, cut off, contour. I'll do a retract. What that will do is it will leave the tab, and let me go and set, let me go back into the attributes, and I want to set the length of that stop length here. I'm going to set that to 5 millimeters. Okay. I'll turn those heads back off. So you can see the retract happening there. It's leaving the tab. I'll speed it up a little bit. Okay, there it goes. So maybe I do want to add the cutoff and maybe even a contour to this. So I'll just go back and keep editing, go back to the attributes, set the cutoff to true, and set the contour to true. So I'll get one more finished pass around there. Play to the first operation. This is my retract. Here comes the cutoff, and finally the contour. So there's your introduction to wire EDM in Delcam for SOLIDWORKS 2012 R2.